I want to be a champion. That's what I see Lee Haney as a champion.
88. One more for number one. Let's go. What?
There's nothing wrong with having a healthy ego. That's why there's sheep and there's shepherds.
One more. Let's go. Come on. Come on, that's all you, all you. Come on, Haney. Come on, Haney. Come on, Haney. Come on. Two more, Haney. Two more. Come on, I got you. Come on. Number one. One more for number one. Give me one more for number one. One more for number one. Let's go. Give me two more. Get strong. Yeah. All right. Welcome to the totally awesome world of Lee Haney. Bodybuilding is a reconstruction of cell and tissue. Bodybuilding is exercise and nutrition at its best, which does not mean the use of anabolic steroids or any such chemicals. For me, Joe Weidel's Dynamic Muscle Builder, Life Essence, and Metabolic Pack is number one. It has taken more than 14 years to develop my physique, which has won several Mr. Olympia titles. In the video you're about to see, I'm using the On 3 Off 1 training program. But before starting any such program, please consult with your physician. As they say, there's a doctor for everything, but when it comes to the physique, Lee Haney is number one. One more! Go ahead. Don't overtrain the arm. Touch him, feel the pump, and then go to your next movement. Let's roll, baby. Yeah. Easy way. Come on, away. I'm on the rope. Come on, squeeze it and drop with it. Yeah. Come on, not too much. Come on. Yeah. Go in. Come on, baby. Not too much amateur. You don't want me to grow. Come on. Let's take two more. Another one. Come on. All right, that's good, baby. Tip for the day. Whenever training or developing any body part, you always want to stick with the basics. A, B, and C. Never rewrite the book. Come on. Last set, best set, baby. Normally at the end of each set, you like to massage your arm just a little to help flush away some of that lactic acid in order to help the muscle relax a little so it'll be recovered for the next set. What I'm doing here, this is my new herbal extract. It's taken sublingual, goes right under the tongue, it goes into the bloodstream very fast. Helps the body to recover and put some oxygen into the bloodstream. Okay? One of my secrets. Maybe I shouldn't have showed you that. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go.
Come on, Ro.
Come on. Easy, that's it. Come on. Come on. One more. All right.
Wait, come on, get your mind to it. Easy way. Come on. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. Yeah, all right. Come on, baby. Come on. Yeah.
Like a lot of bodybuilders take it real serious and they end up hurting. He keeps the fun in it.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That's what it takes to be number one. Mind over matter. The muscle and the mind must become one. One without the other is zero.
Easy way, Haney. Easy way, Haney. Yeah.
It's very important to watch and pay very close attention because this can be a very dangerous exercise. Always pay attention. Don't be wandering around the room or somewhere in space.
Easy way. Easy way, easy way. Let's go, Haney. Easy way. Dog, you did. All you. 88, baby, 88. Come on. Come on, Haney. Okay, let's go, baby, let's go. Let's go. Give me 3 more. One, come on. Squeeze. One more for number 1. Let's go. That's it. That was too easy. Well, no use of me doing 100 reps with 100 pounds. I just move up a little heavier. That's for y'all amateurs. Stay tight, baby, stay tight. Yeah, come on, Haney. Easy way, easy way. Come on. Come on. One more. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, baby.
Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, give me another one.
One more.
Can't take this stuff too serious. You gotta enjoy it a little. Seriousness will kill you. That's what causes high blood pressure and heart attack.
Oh, you yeah. Ready to screw your chest, baby. Go, Lee. Yeah. Good twist. Let's go with it, baby.
Oh, one more. 2 more, baby. Good squeeze. Good squeeze.
All you, no help, no help. Let's go. Concentrate.
Now, for you ladies, cable crossovers are excellent. For guys not having any type of pectoral development whatsoever, you need to stay with the basics. Come on. Come on. You want to squeeze the pecs during the entire movement. Should always be done in a slow, concentrated way. Never jerking or snapping at the end of the rep. Always control. Come on, come on. Come on, baby, come on. Come on, hey. Come on, give me two more.
One more.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Now we've completed the chest. Now I'm going to take a breather. Yes. I think before we go any further, I need to emphasize the importance of motivation. It in itself is the determining factor in whether you're able to reach your particular goal or not, whether it be in training, whether it be in life. And everything that helps to make up a more productive you stems from motivation. And everything that you do, you put out and you get out. In bodybuilding, no pain, no gain, and remain the same. That is the key. You want each and everything that you do to be a definite plus. This is a bicep.
I'll say.
This is a Lee Haney bicep, not a Mike Christian, not a Risky Sparrow, but a Lee Haney bicep. It's taken me over 14 years to construct this arm. And the reason that I emphasize using good control and concentration from the beginning is that after 14 years of hard training, if I did not maintain those basic philosophies in training, I could rip this bicep, which means the end. I don't have another 14 years left to reconstruct a new one. Now, the barbell curl can be performed with either an easy bar or a straight bar. Now, the straight bar hits the bicep in its entirety. It also works the brachiologist and the peak of the bicep head here. Now, the easy curl bar alleviates some of the stress on the brachiologist. But from day one, you need to make sure both of these muscles come into play in the overall development of the bicep. Now, as you gradually develop more and more, such as to the intermediate or the advanced level, then the easy curl bar will be more beneficial in order to get the peaks up. But from day one, the straight bar. First, you want to always start with a weight that you're able to control. A pyramid principle is very important. By starting with a lighter weight, it is in itself a warming up process. So we're going to perform the first rep here, down in a controlled way. Notice when you come up to the top, you want to flex the bicep at the top of the movement. Don't relax. Come up, flex, like so. As far as sets and repetitions are concerned, the basic format, wanting to develop size, you want to stay always within the realm of 8 to 10 repetitions. Always good quality and controlled repetitions. That is great for building muscle size. I can't overemphasize the importance of using the pyramid principle. Never start with a heavier weight and work your way down. Start with a lighter weight and work your way up. That way, you can escape injury. Preacher curl not only helps to promote size along with the barbell curl, it also helps us for shaping the bicep, bringing the head out and helping to add length. Whereas the barbell curl is basically set up for mass and overall development of the arm. So when doing the preacher curl, I would advise using the easy curl bar because it will allow you to work more so on the peak of the bicep because here we're at an angle, so we're able to pull more head into play. Whereas with the straight bar, we're like so, which hits the overall arm. This is the peaking exercise. Shape and peak and also size. We're coming here. We come here, we come up, and we flex the bicep at the top of the movement. A lot of bodybuilders have a tendency to come up here and rest at the top. You don't want to do that. You're wasting time. Notice he's flexing the head at the top of the movement. And he's coming down in a controlled way. Notice he don't let the arm extend all the way out. Because what happens there, you can easily hyperextend the arm. And a lot of us have a tendency to relax the arm, but never relax the arm. 1 rep equals 2 reps when you're doing it right with good control, good concentration. Now that we've completed a very important, there again, a very basic shaping exercise for the arm, we're then going to concentration curl, which works the head of the bicep, which helps to bring about that peaking appearance. We don't need a lot of weight to perform this exercise. Always remember, quality, not quantity. Quality, not quantity. Stimulate, not annihilate. Here, come up, flex the bicep at the top of the movement, lower it in a controlled fashion. Come up, flex it, lower it in a controlled fashion. You can also use the knee as a prop, or you can be seated and do it in the same fashion. Okay? Always using good control and good form. As far as sets and repetitions, that could vary per individual. If you're training for competition, if you're just beginning, all of the things that we've just mentioned are inside of my new book, Totally Awesome. So you can always refer back to it for more in-depth information. First begin with an exercise that will allow the triceps time to warm up and that wouldn't cause a lot of strain from the start. We're going to begin with tricep press down. This is the bread and butter of the tricep. Very basic movement, a very necessary movement in order to develop the tricep muscles. Okay? You want to first get your feet planted in a nice position. Lean forward just slightly to put shift a little of your weight in front so that you can balance yourself better. Then you want to press down and extend the triceps out at the bottom. You don't want to snap them out. You want to slowly extend them out like so. Come up, get a real good negative at the top of the movements, control, come down. Also keep the triceps of the arm locked closely to the side. Up, down, flex the tricep at the bottom, just like so. You're able to get a better stretch and better direct hit on the tricep by using the barbell extensions. Some people feel the rope a little bit more, but this is a basic. I feel we need to stay with the basics. If you're not feeling this one, then yes, you can try the rope extension. Some people would need a spotter. It would be better to use a spotter from day one. My having more experience, I don't really need a spotter. But for the sake of everyone who's just getting started, I'd like to have you, Joe, to give me a spot here. So we want to slowly lower the bar in a controlled manner. Come up, extend. Get a good stretch at the bottom, extend. You want to ease it out, squeeze the tricep out at the top. And we're now moving to the one-arm extension. Can I have a volunteer, one of you ladies there? Chelsea? See, there's good form and good control, and Chelsea's making sure that she gets the most out of the negative part of movement, which will help lengthen the tricep muscle. Hitting both heads there. Upon completion of each set, it's always good to get at least 45 seconds to 60 seconds of rest in between sets. You can superset, okay, no problem with that. But when I speak of superset, I mean such as moving from press downs to line tricep extensions. That is a good superset. And a superset should also carry with it the same 45 to 60 seconds recovery time in between those supersets. Doesn't mean rush from set to set without a breather. That's not supersetting, not the way Lee Haney would call supersetting. Because if you don't have an amount of rest to recover, to get a good set, to make the supersets really that productive, then you're wasting your time. Which means you're going to end up having to use a much lighter weight, which means you're not going to gain as much muscle size. Next, we're moving the chest. There again, we want to stay with the basic exercises. Number one, barbell bench presses, incline barbell presses, then flat dumbbell flies. Three basic movements. Three movements that has been around for decades. First, when doing bench presses, make sure you have someone around that can act as a spotter, or if you have a good training partner. This movement cannot be taken too lightly. It can be very dangerous. So you want to always, again, use a pyramid principle, starting with a lighter weight. So if you do lack control, you'll know your limitation. You don't want to go any heavier. Okay? Here we're going to start with 135 pounds. The bench press is an exercise that has been set up for mass, building mass and strength in the upper body, especially in the pecs. Now, this exercise does not hit the upper portion of the pec, but the lower portion and the mid portion of the pecs. Okay? First, I want to get a grip that is a little more than shoulder width. You come in too close, you're going to be working tricep. You don't want that to happen. So you want to come a little bit more than shoulder width. Okay, Terrell, if you can give me a lift off. Okay. Okay, I'm coming down in a controlled manner, and I'm exhaling on the way up. Inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the way up. And as I'm coming up, I'm flexing the pecs at the top of the movement, just as you should flex the bicep when performing a barbell curl or concentration on any of the bicep movements. Okay, Terrell. We're then moving to incline presses, which incline presses are bread and butter for the upper pectoral region. They must be present in your workout in order to develop the upper pecs. Now, sometimes we can use a combination of the barbell incline press along with the dumbbell incline press, but the basic is the barbell.
Paulo, if you would, I would like for you to spot me.
I said, okay. There again, the grip should be a little bit more than shoulder width, not too narrow, because you don't want to bring too much of the tricep into play. You want the stress to be up on the upper pectoral region and the delt. Okay? All right. So we up. Good control. Exhale on the way up, flex the pecs. Come to the upper part, just right up under the chin. It's right up under the chin. Okay. That's good. And always keep in mind, when you're doing incline presses or bench presses, make sure that the head is pointed straight ahead. Never squirm or twist the neck or bring the feet up off the floor. You can end up injuring the spine. And never put too much stress on the back of the neck. Always push off with the chest and not off with the neck. You end up with a lot of problems in the long run. Okay, upon completion of the barbell bench press and the incline barbell press, which are two very important basic exercises that are set up for basically mass, we're then going to dumbbell flies, which are very important for hitting the overall chest muscle because of control. This is a very important movement, and control must be there. It's more or less a polishing exercise. Just as concentration curls are for the bicep, dumbbell flies are for the chest. So what you want to do, bring the dumbbells up, place them on the thighs, sit, and as you rock back, bring the dumbbells back with you in order to prevent having to lift them up from the floor and possibly injuring a ligament or a joint. Okay? Like so. Okay? Always keep feet planted firmly on the floor. Come up, flex the chest at the top of movements. Come down in a controlled way. Squeeze at the top of the movement. Come down, and as you lower the dumbbells, widen out at the bottom. Come up, flex at the top of the movement. Just like so.
So it's important to rotate the wrists when you do this way?
The reason for the rotation is that what it's enabled me to do
is to fully extend and flex the pecs, to twist them around so that I can bring every portion of the pectoral muscle into play. So that is the reason for that. You're coming like so, you're squeezing and flexing. Matter of fact, that's the way I did it from day one, in that fashion. But I found to roll the wrists around, you're able to bring a little bit more of the pec into play. Okay, when you finish, place the dumbbells back on the knee, on the thigh muscles, and shift the weight forward.
Come on, Haney. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Oh, man. All you, Haney. All you. Come on.
Quality and quantity is good. Just so there's a link between the two. When there's more quantity than quality, something's wrong. Ah, come on, come on, baby. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Oh, you. Come on, Haney. Come on. Yeah. Come on. One more. That's all. Yeah. Good set. He understands that I'm Mr. Olympia, and that I am, so to speak, the rabbit, and he's the hound dog. As long as I keep a lead, he'll always eat my ducks. As soon as I lie to have a head of lettuce, he's gonna catch me. But until that time, let's go, hound dog. Oh, come on, get mad about it. Come on, let's go. Yeah, come on. All right, show me what it's all about. Yeah, come on. Oh, good. Show me. Yeah. Yes, you got it. Yeah. Come on, Haney. I'm glad that I'm not them guys worrying who's gonna be second, third, or fourth. Come on, Haney. Looking tough. Come on. Yeah. Come on, Haney. Yeah. That's it. Come on, Haney. That's it. Come on. Keep going, baby. Keep going. Come on. Good squeeze. Come on. Easy way. Important, I feel, at this point to wrap the knees. Some people don't advise wrapping, but I do. I feel that the wraps do act as extra ligaments and tendons and will, in a way, help to protect the knees. Get it up. Come on, Haney. Good. I know my competition is only doing 5 sets, so I'll do 6. Let's go, baby. Come on. Get in the groove, baby. Let's go. Yeah. One more roll. Come on. Good set. Never allow anyone to give force reps to you if you're not somewhat in control of the movement yourself. Always be in control. Never allow anyone else to be in control of the movement.
right into leg extensions. Now, I feel that leg extensions is very, very important to have as your first exercise. Reason being that following leg extensions, there are other exercises such as squats and leg presses. If not having the knees warm before going into these exercises, it can result into injury or strain. That's why it's very important to have leg extensions first. Now, leg extensions are the bread and butter of the thigh. It hits the outer head of the quadriceps, the mid portion of the quadriceps, and especially the teardrop. Now, there again, I want to emphasize the importance, just as I have the previous exercise that we've done, the importance of using a pyramid principle, starting with a lighter weight and working your way up. Feet should be pointed straight ahead, although some people choose to switch the angles up to turn the toes out. But I would prefer, and I think it's much safer, to always keep the toes pointed straight ahead or slightly turned in. Okay. Come up, flex the thighs at the top, lower it slowly. Up, flex the thighs at the top, lower it slowly. Way up. Notice he's locking all the way out at the top, and he's coming down in a controlled manner. A lot of us have the tendency to come up and down very fast. You can end up hurting yourself in that way, and the repetition is not as effective. At all times, the mind and the muscle must be linked together. The mind and the muscle must become one in order to make 1 rep equal 2 reps. The squats will help towards promoting growth, especially mass, throughout the entire quadricep and also hamstring region. It hits the 3 quads here in the front, also the thigh bicep, or we sometimes call it the hamstring. Okay? The narrow stance, I feel, is much more effective. It's when coming down, by having a narrow stance, you're going to be able to pull these muscles into play, the inner thigh into play, the inner teardrop, and also the inner and upper thigh into play. It's a very awkward way to do a squat, but I feel it's the most effective way.
Why do some people stand with the board underneath their head?
By using the board, I feel that is incorrect form. A lot of people say, well, I have pain in the lower back. That's why I use the board.
Is it cheating?
It's cheating. It's almost like leaning forward, which is not going to alleviate the problem. What you need to do is lower the weight, start off from the beginning, fresh, clean, learn to use the proper stance, and always the method of putting the heels flat on the floor. When you're doing squats, the heels should remain flat on the floor. Never, when on the way down, should the heels come up off the floor. That is an incorrect way to do squats. You end up putting a lot of stress on the lower back. As I emphasized earlier, the importance of using the belt while doing pressing exercises, especially shoulders, is also very important to use them while doing squats, even more so, because the lower back is involved as well as the thighs. There again, pyramid. Make sure that when you begin, it's a weight that you're able to control. It's not too strenuous on the joints. By now, the knees should be partially warm from doing leg extensions. Okay? Now, what I'm about to do is a narrow stance. This is the type of stance that I've used from day one in order to help develop my thighs to the point that they are now. Keeping the knees pointed straight ahead. Arch the back on the way down, head up at all times. And always gradually go down. Lower the weight in a controlled fashion, not too fast. There again, not too slow.
Lee, I noticed when you do your squats, you squat down so your thighs are roughly parallel to the floor. I've seen a lot of guys go below parallel. Is that incorrect to do that?
Parallels is enough. To go below parallel it's not necessary, I feel, especially for a taller person. A shorter guy, A-okay, no problem. But you want to always be very careful not to put too much stress upon the joints. If you're going to go below parallel, make sure that you're controlled. Okay. Leg presses are excellent for isolating the thigh muscles, isolating the quadriceps and also the hamstring. Now, what it will enable you to do is to get the most out of each and every repetition. Whereas squats being more or less a power move, you're not able to fully squeeze and flex this thigh at the top of the movement. And there again, leg presses carries a lot less danger than squat does. We're going to use a stance where it's somewhat wider, the toes pointed outward, because what we want to do here is work the inner thigh and the upper thigh muscles. Everything is involved here. We can feel a little bit more in the inner thigh, being that the legs are pointed outward. Up. You want to come down in a controlled fashion. Thighs pointed outward. Flex on the way up. I prefer pushing off on the heels. By doing so, I'm going to be able to squeeze out that little extra at the end of that repetition. Down, squeeze. Exhale. When coming down, you're going to have to let the air out. So we got a blow and a blow, okay? Now to walk onto the stage or just to have an underdeveloped leg which lacks the thigh bicep or a hamstring is not what you would want to call a complete lower body. So it's very important to make sure that you're well equipped and that you have a good balanced shape to the thigh. And that's why leg curls are so very important. And the hamstring muscle being a somewhat harder muscle to stretch and warm up, you want to start with a lighter weight, just as we did on the other exercises, and gradually increase the weight. You don't want to ever start too heavy on this. You don't want to start down and lean over and start stretching cold hamstring muscles. You want to go ahead and do your first set, which would be a very light set, and then gradually increase. And stretch the hamstrings as you increase the weight while pyramiding. Okay. First, you want to get yourself situated. And you want to come up and lower it in a slow, controlled fashion. When you're coming up, you want to flex the bicep, the hamstring bicep, at the top of the movement. Let it come down in a controlled, gradual manner. Up. There we go. Always using good form and control. Okay. Now, upon completion of the set, what you want to do is make sure that you stretch the hamstring just a little. Don't overdo it because they're still cold. We've just completed the first set. Going into the second and third set, you want to stretch them just a little bit more as you gradually go on. Okay, now the reason for stretching the hamstrings is to help to lengthen them out. It helps to add length to the hamstring, and more or less keep them loose. Because this exercise is very, very concentrated, and you can get a little crampy back there. So you want to stretch them out at all times. Okay, just a little. Just rock from side to side, just a little. Just some slight toe raises. Okay, don't overdo it, especially if this is very new to you. You can have a complete upper body, nice taper and so forth, and perfectly balanced thighs, but then if you lack calf, you can forget about it. The physique is not complete unless everything flows together, and that includes especially the calf muscles. Now, the best exercise for developing overall mass in the calves are the standing toe raises. Now, this is the bread and butter and a very basic exercise that is necessary in order to bring about the type of development. Just as squats, just as barbell curls are the basics for legs and arms, standing toe raises are the basics for building the calves. Okay? When doing toe raises, what you want to do is first determine what type of stance is the most effective. I advise using a narrow stance with the toes pointed slightly in so that you'll be able to work the outer heads of the calf muscles just as well as the inner heads. For the most part, you never have a problem developing the inner head of the calf. It's normally always the outer head that causes the problem. So I'll give the first example here. Okay? So now that we're set,
top position. You want to squeeze the toes, let it down slowly. Get a good stretch at the bottom. Come up, flex, down slowly. Come up, flex, down slowly. Come up, flex, down slowly. Okay? Upon completion of each and every repetition, it's very important to slowly stretch the calf muscles. By stretching them, you'll be able to elongate the calf. If you don't stretch them out, it can develop into a high calf. If the calves are already high, they will remain high. So you want to stretch that muscle out. What you'd like to do is place the feet on the toe piece of the calf machine and pivot back and forth, shifting the weight on each calf, gradually stretching them out. You don't want to overstretch them on the first set. Stretch them between sets would be much better. Never stretch a cold muscle.
Lee, can you work calves more often than other muscle groups?
Well, the calf is a stubborn muscle. I will say that to work the calf 4 times a week, it's no problem. Whereas major body parts, such as the back, the shoulders, the biceps, and so forth, the upper body, or the thighs even, could only be worked effectively twice a week. Now, the calf, being a very high tolerance muscle, needs more than a 2-day-a-week workout in order to stimulate them. In that respect, I would advise training them every other day. I like to throw that day in between because by having that rest day there, the calf is at least able to recover, and then using more or less a shock technique. All of a sudden, it's oh, this guy's not going to train me tomorrow, so I'm going to relax, and you get a much better pump. I feel it's much more effective. All right. We have the frontal delt, the lateral delt, and the rear delt, and the traps. 4 different sections of the shoulders, but all very important, and all of them should be worked in a very distinct way. But before going into shoulder exercise, I want to also emphasize the importance of having a belt, wearing a belt, because when you get involved in any type of pressing movements that involve the back, you want to make sure that you have that added protection there. So it's very important to keep that in mind. You want it to be just comfortable, you don't want it to take the breath away, but just comfortable, okay? So here we go. There again, we want to emphasize the importance of using the weight that will allow you to have good control, good form, and there again, the pyramid principle. I can't overemphasize the importance of that because you can easily injure yourself, and a lot of us do from time to time have shoulder injuries. If not an injury, then some type of inflammation or a touch of bursitis. We want to work towards alleviating that problem. Okay? Get set. Bring the weight back like so, and we're going to go behind the neck first, or in front. Whichever one do you prefer? I think we'll go in front first. Okay? Here we go. Exhale on the way up. Inhale on the way down. In a controlled way. Always control. Flex the deltoid muscles at the top of each movement. When you finish, place the weight back on the rack, not in a reckless way, but in a controlled way. If you need a spotter, don't hesitate to call upon someone to help, because it can be very dangerous, just as bench presses can be. As we're doing the front presses, we want to also make sure that the angle that we're using is correct. We're a little bit more than shoulder width, just as we are on the bench presses. When doing your front presses, bring the elbows in like so, not out to the side, but in somewhat. When you're going behind the neck, then you want to come out to the side, which we'll give an example of behind the neck now.
You spoke of spotting. What is correct way to spot on an exercise like this?
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that, Fred, because a lot of us, not Lee Haney, a lot of you amateurs out there have a tendency to spot with a knuckle or under grip.
that is not safe. There's no way that you're gonna stop a falling weight by using this type of grip or by using your knuckle. The safest and the best way to spot, most effective, is by using an oval grip. That way you're in more control. You can pull rather than curl this type of weight. When doing the side laterals with the dumbbells, what we're doing, we're helping to develop the cap of the lateral deltoid muscle here. It does not take a great deal of weight. Pyramid principle is very, very important, and especially when dealing with the side of lateral, because it is not a natural movement. You know, it is not natural that you're going to ever have to pick up anything out to the side in that way. So you want to be very careful in choosing your weight and use a weight that is extra easy to control. For me, 25-pound dumbbells is enough to start with anyway. So we start here. Get a good stance. Come to the front, outward. Inhale on the way up, exhale on the way down. Okay? No jerking, no snapping at the top of the movement. Always use good control and good form. Next, we'll move into the rear delt muscle, which is located right here. This is normally one that the majority of us lack in development because we tend to do the presses, the side laterals, the shrugs, and forget the rear delt. But the rear delt is the masterpiece of the back. It helps to complete the development of the entire shoulder muscle system. That's good. Head up, amateur, so you can bring the traps into play. That's good. See, since you brought the head up, the traps are involved also. That's good form and good control. Perfect. Great, great. All right. Good. Great, great. We're now ready to move and work in the traps. And the most effective exercise that I know of are shoulder shrugs. I prefer using the barbell instead of the dumbbell. There again, I prefer doing shoulder shrugs from behind than from the front because the traps are located behind and not from the front. I know where a lot of guys do pull up from the front. Yes, they develop the frontal portion of the traps, which looks very good in the tie-in, but there again, the rear part of the traps are missing. The traps, I feel, should be worked from behind because that's where they're located, behind and not in front. I also recommend using wrist straps when doing trap movements. That will help save your grip. That way you'll be able to get in at least a few more repetitions.
What's the correct way to put them on? Is there a correct way or is there a wrong way?
The correct way to put on wrist straps is to always have the tail of it going in the direction of the thumb, such as that. In the direction of the thumb. You got that? Okay. Now sometimes it does take time to develop the right technique as far as using the wrist straps, and especially as far as doing barbell shrugs from behind, or what you could call upright rows from behind. Okay. First, we want to tuck the body in just a little, so that when you're coming up with the bar, you don't rub off half of your buttocks or scratch off half of them, okay? So we're coming up. You want to come all the way up, flex the traps at the top of each movement, and lower it slowly in order to get a full stretch at the bottom. Steps are gonna make me number one.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Come on, Haney. going against Haney. There's nobody else in the world better than Haney. You know, and you only better than you are. You know, he's best because he trains, he eats, he sleeps, bodybuilding. 12 o'clock at night, the average person sleeps. Haney's in the gym. So that's what makes you the best in the world.
Come on, Ro. Get it up, baby. Yeah. Come on. Come on, squeeze it at the top. Want to get at 2 more inches on those lats.
I know when I come in the gym, he's gonna dog me, he's gonna correct me, he's gonna cuss me out, he's gonna put me on the right track.
Come on, squeeze that. Give me 2 more now. 2 more. Gonna have some more lats this year. Let's go. Yeah. Right.
Wow. Come on. Let's go, Lee. Let's go, Lee. Pump it up. Pump it up. Come on. Too good, baby. Looking too good. Come on. I got you. I got you. Let's go. Let's go. Give me 2 more. Give me 2 more.
I should be doing this stuff. They told me to be a lawyer, a doctor. Here I am, you know, like a crazy man. Couldn't wait.
Let's go, baby.
Must be crazy.
Way to handle it, Haney. Way to handle it, baby. Make it look easy. Way to handle it. Good.
Let's go. Until you gotta think number 1. Let's go, baby. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Good stretch. Come on.
Yeah. Come on. Go, baby. Come on.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That can bruise the male ego a little.
Come on, Haney. Come on, Haney. Get it up. Get it up. Let's go, Haney. Looking strong. Looking strong. Yeah.
Isn't that a frightening experience? Maybe you think you're going to be a bodybuilder, let alone an Olympian.
Come on, Haney.
Come on. And I want my place in history just like anybody else.
All right. Get in the groove. Come on.
I didn't walk into the gym one day and said, well, I want to become a professional bodybuilder. It's something that had to slowly grow and develop. It's an individual sport, so no one is responsible for your lack of discipline but yourself. These are the same traits and characteristics you can use in everyday life. I can apply this to any aspect of my life.
Easy weight, easy weight.
Bodybuilding for me has been a tool. It's a means to a continuing, because the successes that I've experienced in the sport of bodybuilding took a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline and dedication. But what followed those will take me a step beyond.
Everybody want to have that nice V taper, that nice small waist, or the appearance of having a nice small waist. And in order to get that appearance, you have to widen the lats, or more or less have that cobra look. Now, you ladies, of course, you don't want to have lats like Lee Haney, but you know the taper does look good, and you do want to bring the lats out to a certain extent to make a more balanced and pleasant-looking physique. Now, the basic for back are pull downs, T-bar row, barbell row, which is bread and butter, and then, of course, your chins, which is generally a warm-up exercise. Some people like doing chins, some people don't. From day one, I did not include chins in my back training. But from time to time, I do include chins. I mean, it's not every day you want to jump
swing in the air weighing 260 pounds. For beginners, I would advise doing first pull downs behind the neck or pull downs in front. Being a very basic movement, I prefer pull downs in front because I'm able to isolate a little more. Okay, we're going to start with maybe 160 pounds. That's for Lee Haney. Some of you may not start with that way. Okay, Fred, we want to move back just a little. Okay, get yourself seated. Nice, comfortable manner. What you want to do when you come down, you want to arch the back or throw the chest forward, like so. That's one, up in a controlled manner, like so. All the way down, arch, and never none of this crap. Never none of that. You want to always slowly extend the lats at the top in order to stretch them out and to get them elongated, okay? So you come down, you flex at the bottom, let it up slowly. Come down, flex at the bottom, let it up slowly. More. And none of this crap where you're laying back like so. I watch a lot of you amateurs get into that. I don't know where you saw it. Maybe you saw Richard Sparrow do that. But it couldn't have been Lee Haney. Sorry about that, Rich. I didn't mean to, Nah, just kidding. Rich is perfect in his form. That's why he developed such a great physique. Down, arch the back, up in a controlled fashion. It's like so. Now, pull downs behind the neck should be done in the same fashion. A lot of us have a tendency where we're doing a pull down behind the neck to hunch the shoulders forward. That should not be. The back should also be arched on pull downs behind the neck. The same way, there should be no difference. If any, a slight difference, because you are coming behind instead of the front, which means you're not going to be in control of the movement as you would be from the front. That's why I prefer pull downs from the front. Much more effective, I feel. Okay? Here we go. Pull downs from behind. Head straight out in front of you. Back arched. You're not going to be able to use as much weight on pull downs to the behind as you will from the front, because it is a very awkward position. That's why I prefer from the front.
Nobody's better. You don't want it, baby. Do you want it?
Now, T-balls are great for building overall width and depth in the back. Okay, it can also be a somewhat dangerous exercise if not performed properly. You want to always be aware of that. And when doing T-balls, make sure that you're using a weight that you're able to control. Start with a lighter weight and work your way up. You want to get good quality repetitions in. 1 rep equals 2 reps. Stimulate, not annihilate. And keep that in mind. There again, since the lower back is very much involved in T-ball rolls, you want to wear a belt as added protection. Because it's not every day you're going to be bending over and picking up 200 or 300 pounds. Okay? So you want to make sure that the butt is always tied to the back. So wear something to hold the two together. Okay? Here we go. Now notice, some amateur left the larger plate on the ball, which was probably Tim. Okay? Now, when coming up with this ball, or the plate here, is going to tap the chest, which means I'm not going to be able to get a full flex at the top of the movement. So what I prefer doing when doing T-ball rolls is to use 25-pound plates. What you want to do first is get a good stance. And I would advise using a narrow grip. I prefer using a narrow grip. Yes, you can come wider, but we're going to be doing barbell rolls. And for that reason, I choose to use a narrow grip when I'm doing T-ball rolls. So here we go. Good grip. The back should be parallel, straight ahead. You don't want to lean back. You want to sort of lean into it. The back should be straight ahead. Okay? So we're coming up. Flex at the top. Lower it down. Let the lat stretch all the way out at the bottom. Just like so. All the way out at the bottom. Up. All the way out at the bottom. Up, all the way out at the bottom. For the most part, a lot of us have the tendency to bend the knees too much and stand up with the bar and put more stress on the lower back and end up working the traps instead of the entire lat region. So you want to always keep that in mind. So stay low, head up so you can work the traps at the same time, and that make sure you bring all the lat muscles into play. Now, a cable roll will enable you to get a little bit more isolation. You can isolate the upper trapezium region, you can isolate the rear delt, you can isolate the middle portion of the lats and the lower lumbar region, and is a much safer than T-bar rolls. For ladies, it is very, very good. I would prefer cable rolls to T-bar rolls, especially for ladies. Now, for myself, what I would advise as far as the guys are concerned is to alternate them from time to time. One workout we're doing T-bar, next workout we're doing cable rolls. As the competition gets closer, you want to do a combination of the two in the same workout. Get a good firm grip on the hammer, place the feet, and stretch backward, stretching the lats out. What you want to do, once you've gotten the weight up, stretch the legs out a little more, straighten them out. A lot of people have to leave the knees bent. You want to work the hamstring also, because the hamstring is involved when working the back. So you can get a 2-in-1. So you stretch the hamstrings out, make sure that they're flexed, lean forward, a good stretch, come out, throw the chest forward. What you're doing, you're arching the back on the way up, okay? Lean forward, good stretch, throw the chest outward. Lean forward, good stretch, throw the chest outward. Exhale. Get a good stretch. I watch a lot of athletes come in, especially bodybuilders, they come in and they do this number. They end up working more arm than they do back. So we want to come in like so, throw the back out. None of this. It's a waste of time. This is number one. If you can't do anything else, then make sure you do barbell rolls. Okay, barbell rolls not only work as far as building thickness in the back, it also works as far as shaping and isolating the back muscles. Works the rear traps, the rear delts, also works the outer portion of the lats when getting a good stretch, also works the middle portion, which is the lower lumbar region, which gives that Christmas tree effect. You always want to make sure that you have in mind the possibility of an injury, because this rowing exercise, just as the others, must be used with precaution. Okay, so we always want to wear a belt. Okay, thanks, Fred. All right. So, we want to start with a weight that we're able to use, we're able to handle, we're able to get good quality repetitions out of. Always remember, the mind and the muscle must be linked together. One without the other equals zero or equals injury. Get a good grip on the ball, a little more than shoulder width is excellent. That's what I would highly recommend. Okay? Here we go. You want to inhale on the way up. Exhale on the way down. By keeping the head up, you're also working the traps. Lower it slowly to make sure you get a good stretch at the bottom. So lower it slowly to make sure you get a good stretch at the bottom. If you walk out there on stage, whether you're competing or if you're just on the beach, just to look good, you want to always have a good midsection. You want it to look nice, sharp, and trim. That's where ab work come into play at. Now this is the standing Roman chair. Very basic, but there again, one of the most effective exercises for working the entire abdomen region. Okay, what you want to do, first of all, get yourself placed here. Place the elbows on the pad. Get a good firm grip, because while doing these things, you want to make sure you don't have greasy hands. You don't want to end up slipping, because it can result in injury. So all of these things cannot be taken too lightly. Okay, we're here. Got a good firm grip. What I'm going to do, once I get set, I'm going to bring the knees up, bend them slightly, and crunch. As I crunch and bringing the knees up, I'm going to flex forward with the body. Okay, so it's somewhat a crunching movement. Let the air out on the way up. Rocking the body forward. Very good.
Good ass.
Super, super. I like that.
Whoa.
Great, great. Give me another one, Tim. Perfect, perfect. That's great. Good.
Right on, Tim.
All right. Now, when doing incline sit-up, you want to be sure to avoid putting an enormous amount of stress on the lower back. This is why, when doing them, I would advise to come only part of the way back. Just partially back. You don't want to go back so far that the strain is shifted from the front to the lower part of the back. And on the way up, you want to make sure that you squeeze and flex the abdomen. All right, here we go. Get yourself positioned properly. Make sure that the feet are in very close upon the pad. You don't want to be out to the side because you can easily slip and fall back in the floor and knock a hole in the floor or in the foundation, okay? So here we go. You can also have your arms locked to the front of you or out to the side. I prefer out to the side. It's a little rough on me coming up in that way. So it's whatever you prefer, behind the head, to the front, or out to the side. But here I'm coming out in front of me. Back partially, right along in here, 3/4 of the way, up, flex at the top of the movement. Up, flex. On the way up, you want to let the air out. Okay, so we... We're flexing at the top of each repetition. You want to always keep that in mind. You don't want to relax the abs. You never want to relax. And that's why you get people saying, oh, I did 1,000 sit-ups today. You didn't do 1,000 quality sit-ups. Every sit-up should be a quality sit-up. The mind and the muscle must be linked together at all times in order to get the most out of every repetition. Okay? You also want to twist during the movement in order to bring the serratus into play. Like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like so. Now, I did them a little faster than normal because I've learned and I've been able to train the mind and the muscles to work together in a more systematic and a controlled way, which I'm able to increase the pace. But for beginners and those just starting out, you want to do it much slower so that you're able to feel and learn how to make the link between the mind and the muscles.
Come on, baby.
I've had a lot of people to say that Lee Haney is a nice guy. You know, he's a great representative of the sport, and he's a family man. Now he's a father, so it's a combination of things. I feel Lee Haney is, and that's what I strive to be, and strive to be more of that. From the competitive standpoint of view, I feel that I know that he is the best in the sport of bodybuilding. And I know that he will continue to get better. You know, you have to be realistic. Some people can look in the mirror and see something that isn't there. I've always been a realist. And at the age of 19, I won the Teenage America at 212 pounds. And then at the Junior Nationals, I won that show at 222 pounds. Then I won the Nationals at 230 pounds. And that was quite large, even for a professional bodybuilder, which, and having symmetry, defined lines, and so forth, I then knew I had a chance. So it wasn't a shocking thing, because no one had ever heard of Lee Haney prior to those wins. But I had had a chance to see the different competitors on a national level as I was coming up, and I measured my chances against those guys and my physique against their physique. If you've given everything that you can in that gym, in your workouts, you've followed good dietary habits, you've gotten the right amount of rest, and you haven't been messing about doing things that you shouldn't have been doing when you should have had your mind on your goal, then that ego will not be there. But if you have done those things and you know you've given it all, then you're satisfied within yourself. So when you hit that stage, so here I am, I've been working 3 months, 4 months, getting ready, and let me show the world, and there we go, and it's a party from then on. You enjoy yourself. I'm ready. You're ready. When you hit that stage, you're ready. And that's what brings about that smile. That's what brings about charisma, because you've done all that you can do. Whenever you see a guy walk on stage and he's looking down, or he's wondering, or he has this questioning look upon his face, somewhere during his training he lacked. Unless he just it's just a psychological imbalance there. But that is the only way. But to be an Olympian, you can't have a psychological imbalance. Otherwise, you wouldn't be an Olympian. You would still be one of a million other bodybuilders and not amongst those top 10 Olympians in the whole world.